Greetings and thanks for dropping by for the latest edition of Mentor Mike's Market Movie. Today is Wednesday, April 25, 2012. And before we get started, let's take note of the last major turning point in this market according to our Donchian channel. That would be this high right here. So let's mark it. And if this market holds true to form, there will be a sell-off to a number 2 point, a rally to a number 3 point, and then another sell-off after that. So let's keep our eyes peeled for something like that and look for an opportunity to get short until we end up touching the lower Donchian channel. So let's start the process here. Alright, we've got a bearish crossover here on the stochastic, and we've got the price starting to sell off here. Let's get short, and let's start our trade arrow. And once again, I just realized I had a lesson with another student just before beginning this, and I'm currently using a 5 contract 3 target strategy with our first target at 5 ticks rather than the usual 3. That's going to be a lot more challenging to hit, but I'll switch it back after we make it through this trade, hopefully. Now, we know at some point the price is going to hit this lower Donchian channel, but it hasn't happened yet. There we go. Now, we're going to reverse our position, but actually I'm going to get out of this trade so that we can get back to our proper strategy here. I'm going to close this out and start the data, pause it again, and we'll go back to our beginner strategy with 3 contracts and 2 targets. And we'll start the feed. Our longer term stoke is already heading up. We want the shorter term heading in the same direction. And as soon as we get that, we'll be good to go. Like there, for example. And let's go ahead and do the arrows. And we should make this arrow bigger because we got all the way over to here before we finally Got out of the trade. All right, I think we're ready to start up again. Okay, now let's see if we can get another opportunity to get long on this same move. At the very least, we're going to need the price to come down below that blue moving average. Oop. Notice how the price spiked up and then came back down, and we've got the stochastic underneath here, but we're getting close. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to spring back and go higher because look how bold the MACD and the longer term stochastic looks. So let's get long. And we'll set the arrow. And start up. Boom, what'd I tell you? Now, I've paused this, and I neglected to mark our next low point. And right now, this is obviously a high, but we don't know if the market's going to go higher still. So let's wait until we look like we've got a confirm on the high before we mark it. Okay, now we're a long ways from a crossover on the MACD, but our stochastics are both starting to head down at the same overbought position. So I think there's a good chance that this is our high. We're also in the window of opportunity for the first delta turning point. This low over here occurred in the pre-market. So let's go ahead and mark it and get short. Should have done the arrow first, but now notice both stochastics are still heading down, and the price just took a little corrective bounce up. So let's wait until we see a little more of a turnaround on that blue moving average, like right there, say. And I think we can squeeze another short trade out of that move. Oops, kind of overshot the stop just a tad bit, but we hit both targets anyway. All right, let's pause that. And start her up again. Got mixed signals on the stochastics, don't we? Slow is down and fast is currently up. So let's wait until they join up again, like right there. Now, we know that the last turning point was a high, and in all likelihood, we're going to have a 1, 2, 3 top. So here's point number 1, point number 2, and perhaps this is point number 3, which means we're going to sell off again. And that looks very likely because we've got a little curvature on the MACD and both our stochastics are heading lower. So let's get short and let's start the arrow. And now the data. Now, at some point, this price is going to have to encounter this lower Donchian channel line. It's rising, and the price is going to have to fall, and hopefully they'll meet somewhere low enough to hit our targets. Okay. Now, look what we got. We have now hit the lower Donchian channel, and it appears that the price wants to go in the other direction. So, okay, and there we go. Now we're hitting the upper Donchian channel again, but notice that our white moving average is very solidly above the red, so we could be on a nice upward trend here now. We can't assume that that is the high. There could be a higher high waiting for us. Okay, now we've got the stochastics. Fast is cross the slow, and we've got crossovers pretty close to happening on both the slow and on the MACD. So there's a pretty good chance that there's room for this thing to move down, even if it goes down and hits support on the red moving average. That's still enough to hit our first target. So let's give it a shot on the short side here, and away we go. Okay, both targets hit. Now the price is turning around and coming back, and the curvature on the white kind of suggests that it's going to skirt along the top of the red and maybe go higher. So at the very least, we know that this, if this is the high, then this is number 2, and number 3 is going to be at least close to number 1. It won't take it out, but that'll be far enough to hit the target. And if this isn't the high, it will take out that high and go higher. So either way, I think we're going to be in good shape for a long trade here. Let's get that in now. As a general rule, when you have a conflict, when you have a conflict between the two stochastics, I'm pausing that for a moment. Remember that the two-tone blue is going to be the faster, more sensitive one, and that's the one that you're going to be dealing with primarily. Okay, now turn back on. We clearly made a new high. Now, this looks treacherous, however. I don't know if we have enough room to get on the short side here, but we've got both stochastics now heading lower. Let's see if there's enough room to hit a target here. I'm going to be bold and draw a green arrow and hope that we don't have to change it to a blood red. Oh, we did hit the first target. And then stopped out. Okay, so we got a marginally successful trade. Now, look at, they're both turning around to go higher. We've got bullish curvature on both stochastics and MACD, and our price and our blue moving average is starting to move above the white, which never went below the red. So we may get another higher high, which means we'll hit that second target. Yes, sirree. Okay. Now, well, let's see. Alright, we've got a little bit of a curvature on that. If this is the high, then this will probably drop enough to take out the parabolic. So let's hope that it goes at least far enough to hit our first target. We'll go short, and we'll start the arrow, and now the data. That's what we like. Getting close to that. Alright, now starting up, and we've got curvature on the MACD and the fast stochastic, and the longer term stochastic has been heading up the whole time. So we're going to do a reversal, and we will start the arrow and adjust this arrow to reflect its actual trade size. Okay, I think we're ready to go now. Now, let's close the trade because we're actually beyond the close of the day session. And what happened here? Oh, come on. There we go, finally. Okay, we'll just let it, we picked up some data from the aftermarket. All right, check this out. 2025. That is a major coup with 3 contracts. And let's see what we got here. Anything further back than that? No. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 and 0 in 2025. All right, folks, thanks for dropping by. Come back and see us again tomorrow.